Hey, what's going on, YouTubers, gamers, and hobbyists? And welcome for another episode of On the Bench with Pete. Now, this is the series that you put on in the background as you hobby or paint along with me, and together we get stuff done. It's just a paint along video series, really. And I talk about life, the universe, and everything else in between, and sometimes even some hobby stuff. But joking aside, I've got a lot of goblins to do from last time, I believe. Last time, these fellows here. So I've got a lot of work to do on those. I'm super excited today because I've got a lot of plans for today. Hopefully I'll remember and talk to you about those in the actual episode. I've got paints on my desk to remind me that I'm gonna paint what in that colour. I don't know. Grab yourselves tea, coffee, some other beverage, energy drinks, whatever you partake in whilst you hobby, and let's just get to the bench, shall we? Okay, look at this mess before you, but it's a jolly mess. I'll just try and tidy it up a little bit as I go along here. I don't know why I've got all these paints out. Do you know I really should get into the habit of packing away what I don't need at the end of my hobby day. I really should. Anyway, I am super duper uber excited. One, because it's a Wednesday at the time of recording this. Now, these are no longer going up on a Wednesday, they're going up on a Friday, I believe from the last episode, so you may have noticed that. But yeah, I've been up in my loft. I've dug around. I was actually looking for something in the loft. Oops! I've just snapped a paintbrush that has become inadvertently glued to my desk. Well, look at that! How bizarre is that? Gonna have to sort that out. Anyway, and the glue, that's gonna be a pain to remove. But anyway, yeah, so I've been up in the loft, and I came across an old box of my board games. Yes, you've seen a lot of them, or some of them, but I've still got a lot up in storage, up in my loft. And I came across one that was like, I couldn't help myself. It was so nostalgic for me, and I'm going to be doing a video on it. I brought it downstairs. I've checked all, the contents are still there and okay, and so on. I still use that brush. That's okay. And so I'm going to do an episode on that, which is a bit unexpected. It's been a while since I've done anything on the board game side of things, in terms of looking at actual games, especially games that I believe are no longer in production, and if they are, they're quite expensive to come by. But games from my childhood. So I'm excited about that. I'm super duper excited because I've got to record episode 2 of my solo Middle-earth role-playing campaign. And it's called the Dwarves of Fangorn. You would know that by now. Hopefully. That's what it's called anyway, the Dwarves of Fangorn. And this is kind of why I'm doing all this stuff here. It is for the campaign. Now, I've come across this AOS dude. He's kind of semi-painted, and I was doing it as part of a tutorial, I believe. I think I used him in my priming tutorial, like priming with airbrush. I'll put a link if you haven't seen it already. And another thing that happened yesterday, another reason I'm excited, first of all, is it's Wednesday. It's the first of my days off, so yeah, I've done my working week, and now it's time to relax, time to do some hobby while the rest of the world carries on by. So yeah, super uber duper excited. I don't feel cold enough for heating just yet, but I do have a nice hot cup of coffee here, and that's going to help me. I'm going to have a quick sip now. Lovely. And that is caffeine, yes. I can afford to drink more caffeine when I'm not working. Yes. I'm good at work. It keeps making me want to go to the toilet all the time. So I'm cutting down on caffeine on my working days. So yeah. All right. Now why have I got these colours on? I've got Rune Brass. Maybe something for the goblins. Barracknar Burgundy and Deathcore Drab. I think that might have been for one of my hours. Might have been Haldir. Yes, I think Haldir, possibly. Don't know about the Burgundy though. I'm not too sure. I'm gonna have to pop it away because, you know, at this stage, I just don't know what it's for. It's been a week, and you know, I should leave myself some notes. Really, I really should. Rune Lord Brass may be good for some more metal bits and bobs on there. The goblins, right? Well, my bear here. It needs more work doing on his base. Yes. I think we need a lighter grey on the base there. Let's pop Mechanicus Standard grey on there. And let's get out a Celestra grey. Let's do that. Oh, I knew the agitator would kick in eventually. And of course I'll need my trusty paper towel. Yeah, so I've been hit with a bit of nostalgia fever since finding that game. Of course it drags up a load of long lost memories. Fond, very, very fond memories too of myself and my... He was actually the first friend I ever made when my family and I moved to Plymouth, where I live now currently. I'm just going to use this brush. He was the first friend, proper friend I made. He wasn't even in my class. He was in a different class, but it was, you know, playtime. You know, I'm a new kid at school, and you know, he decided, yeah, you know, let's play. We played. It's weird. The things you remember, we played this spy game, sort of like a James Bond-esque type thing. You know, like kids do. You make up stuff from the imagination. You know, where the whole role-playing thing came into its own. Why kids of our generation were really excelled at it, and you know, really latched on to it because we were good at the whole fantasy role-playing thing anyway. You know, cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians, you know, all that kind of good stuff. Anyway, knights and dragons, yeah, all that. Right, so that's that. This is Bjorn in bear form. I mean, he is going to be around at the time of my role-playing game, so you know, he really ought to have a figure. He's got that. I've got the man figure for him, and yeah, so I'll find. Actually, I could do his claws in Celestra Grey. Thinking about it. Oh yeah. Well, let's get a character brush. I don't think I need to be. Well, we could thin it down. But I don't think it's really necessary. Well, we'll put a little bit in the palette then, and there we go, thinning it down. I knew that stick would come in handy. Right, so I've got a lot of work to do today, but it's good, happy work. It's jolly work. It's doesn't feel like work, does it, when you're doing this? Of course, now So at the time of recording this episode today, I have actually filmed episode 1 of my solo role-playing campaign, and it's all done and produced and that. So I'm going to be attempting the second one today. And I had a blast. I did. I had a really good time. I do owe a lot to the channel, Me, Myself and Die, for the format of how long to do it for and so on. I think he's nailed it. Old Trevor Duval has nailed it. The session's approximately 35 minutes long-ish. Sometimes more, sometimes less. But 35 as an average, and that's just right, really, for the amount of effort involved. I think that looks quite good. Yeah, I'm liking that. Let's do his teeth next, shall we? Okay. Do I do them an off-white? Or do I do them pearly white? I mean, Bjorn is he's a vegetarian, isn't he? So he wouldn't have bad teeth, I would guess. So I'm gonna give him nice pearly whites. Nearly out of this dead white. Lucky I've got other whites. I don't have many what you would call pure whites, but he's quite pure and certainly adequate for what I want to use here. Going with detail brush now. Oh, must be coffee time. Let's have a sip. Okay, so for those of you that are interested in my lifestyle out of the hobby, I have found this week has been quite challenging physically, from a physicality perspective. It's been quite challenging for me. I'll be honest, I've struggled a bit. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. It's great when you can fully accept your limitations. It's very hard to start with, and certainly, as you guys know, or some of you know, from the Royal Mail incident, having to accept further limitation, that was hard. But I'm there now. I feel I've turned a corner with that, and yeah, I feel that I feel that because I've accepted my limitations, and I can look after myself better now. I'll have to do his tongue and whatnot as well. Yeah. Yeah, I can look after myself a heck of a lot better. Because I know what's gonna affect me. There we are. Just on the whites of his eyes too. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. because he's a skin changer, so you only ever see him change into like a big, like dire bear, which is what this is. And there are many dire bears out there that are, on the market that you can get. These are certainly not. This certainly isn't character specific. It's just a dire bear. One's on all fours, one's leaping, running. I thought this one was quite good. Like, kind of stood up. It kind of shows, he's still got the man inside, as it were. Anyway, enough of all that. Right. So anything on my goblins? Yeah, the belts can be done in the brass. I think the buckles. Got the pouches to do. I think they're jerkins. I have to remind myself of what Deathcore drab looks like. Oh yeah, it's kind of like a castellan green type affair going on there. Right. So, where's my looping brush? Right, I've just got some on my palette. Just watering it down. Bit more. Right. So yes. So my week has been quite crazy. Orders out the door. Actually, I'll stick with a character brush for this. Orders have been out the door. People ordering what they will. It kind of reminds me of like Christmas, but it's not Christmas yet. Although, we certainly got the stuff in. I'm just doing. There is like a little bit of armor at the top of this, which I'm not gonna just paint over that. Yeah, they're only goblins, but yeah, I want to have a little bit of detail on here. Different colours as well, which is kind of unique. Now these are not the easiest of areas to paint here. You'd think it would be, but it isn't, quite frankly. And because they're all the same pose, it's going to be equally as difficult on all of them. So, oh well. Those are the brakes. The plane going overhead. No, it's a helicopter. You can hear it as it draws nearer. I don't want to go over the skin. I can't actually remember what. It was a contrast paint, wasn't it, I used on his skin? Yeah, I'm not going to bother with further highlights. I'll just want to get it done. Well, definitely a helicopter, or a helicopter and a small, like a biplane, but something propeller driven, that's for sure. Seems to be moving away now. Weather's been weird. It's gone from, like, the sun and quite warm, to rain. Oh, we had a fire evacuation, and it wasn't a drill on the other day in work. There was no fire, but it wasn't a planned evacuation. But I was quite impressed with how efficient we managed it. Certainly more efficient than some other places I've worked, when they have fire drills and they actually know that it's coming. They're still not as efficient. Okay. Yeah, that was a little bit of excitement. Haven't partaken in one of those for quite some time. Indeed, they had one at Sainsbury's while I worked there, but not on my shift. It happened before I got there one day. A colleague of mine who was working and obviously had to go outside. It was raining and he got soaked. Poor bugger. Yeah. At least it wasn't raining when we had our evacuation the other day. What day was that on? It was either Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, they were so efficient that we weren't out for that long. 5 minutes maybe. I was on my break though, so I was a little bit annoyed. Damn, using up my break. That's alright, they've been good to me, so I don't mind. Right, well that, I believe... There's him done. Right. Wow. I probably... Oh, I've missed a bit. I've missed a bit on the top of his arm. How could I miss that? I see. Right. That's one down. I don't think I'll paint the goblins with the green skin in this because it'll clash with their skin. Right, there we go. Right. It's quite a nice. This is a nice colour though. Anyway, yes. So I've been more nostalgic than usual, and I think I talked about nostalgia a bit on my last episode. Should we call this the nostalgia episode? I'll just call it nostalgia. What is nostalgia? Well, apparently there's good nostalgia and bad nostalgia. Some nostalgia makes you feel good and some makes you feel sad. I have a kind of a mixture of both when it comes to a lot of my nostalgic moments. I remember... It's true about... I mean, I never would have thought it, but they say the school days, best days of your life. I never would have thought that. It doesn't seem like it at the time. I wished I'd been able to view the bigger picture more when I was at school. I could have gone to uni sooner and had a whole different sort of career in my time. True, I probably wouldn't be where I am now, so I probably wouldn't change anything. But just I didn't take things seriously enough when I was younger. I mean, I suppose a lot of people can say that when they look back on their life. But I do wish I'd knuckled down a bit at a younger age, I suppose. See, I went to uni as what they class as a mature student, so I was, in my 20s. Which I think I coped with it probably better than I would have done had I gone straight from school. But anyway, who knows what could have happened, eh? There's probably a parallel dimension somewhere where that did happen. There you go. I spoke to my mum yesterday. She was doing well yesterday. She has good days and bad days in terms of how her mood is, whether she's low or quite upbeat. She was quite upbeat yesterday, so I'm hoping she'll be okay today. It's always not easy when she's quite low. Not an easy thing to get your head around. I mean, it's her arm and shoulder. I mean, it is getting it down. I know that it makes getting up and getting ready in the morning so much longer, and I appreciate that. I get where she's coming from. My mum is the one, doesn't like to be sort of holed up like that, but she just likes to get on with life. And she says herself, on a really bad day, she doesn't even want to get out of bed. But she makes herself. She says, "I know that's not healthy to just lay in bed." She said, "Which I could do though." And I said, "Yeah, you absolutely could, but you're probably right. It's probably not the best thing for you right now." And yeah, but she's got her personal thing all set up, at her home now, so that's good. That's a bit more peace of mind if she absolutely needed it. She could call, and someone would be there, which is good. It's as easy as pressing a button. That's it. So that is, like I say, a huge weight off my mind, at least. I think she'll recover from this quite well. There's complications with her shoulder. It's quite a complicated break. They said if she was a younger woman, they would have operated immediately. But she doesn't want any operations at her time of life, and I get that, and I respect it. You gotta respect people's wishes in this. So yeah, but I am glad just to be able to phone her at home and talk to her. I phone her every day, and we chat. I will phone her immediately after this episode even is up So yeah, I'll just give it a. I know it takes her a while to get going in the morning, so I'm not gonna phone her early or anything like that. It's just stupid on my part if I did that. So it'll be afternoon when I phone her. And that should be ample time. What day is this? Yeah, Wednesday. So she wouldn't. She's got. She used to go shopping on a Thursday, so she's not been doing that for a while. Obviously, no, she's been in hospital for many weeks. I was beginning to wonder if she'd ever come out. So was she, to be truthful. But I'm glad she did. My sister only lives around the corner as well, so that's good as well. No, she's got someone on the standby there. I might phone my sister later, actually, make sure she's okay. I haven't spoke to her for a while, so I think I'll do that. It's good to keep in touch, I think, especially during these weird times when you can't go around and see people. I mean, ordinarily I've been to see her once since she's been out of hospital, but no, we're not really allowed to go now. So as soon as we are, I will go and see her. But part of the reason why I phone her every day, so I know everything's okay. Hoping to get this what you call it. It's not a jacket. It's not a shirt. Well, it is kind of a shirt, like a green shirt thing he's got going on there. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about my game a little bit later. I mean, I'm going to be obviously doing a full-on video. I might be making 2 videos on it. One for my channel here and one for my personal channel. I might just talk about nostalgia in general. I like to talk about nostalgia and nostalgic stuff. It helps me cope better, I think. That's my own personal take on it. Helps me cope better with it. I think what the guys with the green skin, I'll probably do brown jackets or brown shirts. So they'll kind of look the same, but they will be not, if you follow me. Right, timer on. Oh my goodness, 32 minutes already. I was hoping to do a bit more on him. Tricky. Well, I can do a bit of known oil on him while I'm waiting. Just on his like that robe cloth thing that's running down in between his legs there. Okay, regiment brush. Regiment brush. Bit of known oil on the grey. That looks quite good. I like that. Yeah. Bit more. Bit more there. Okay. Right. A bit more coffee. Oh, don't leave your brush in the water like that, Pete. It's very bad. It causes your brushes to warp and bend out of shape. So that's not too bad there. No, it's quite good. Caught it just in time. Finished my coffee off. I can see me having to do another on the bench because I've got other stuff to do. Apart from this, I've got some floor tiles which I want to get going on as well. Yeah, I'm real chuffed about that. See, maybe the burgundy paint I had was for his tongue. Maybe it was. Yeah, so I'm excited to be doing or delving into my board game. The board game itself is Escape from Colditz, it's called. I don't think it's still made. I really don't. But what a cracking game. So I'm just gonna re-look at it and maybe do a restoration on it. I don't know. It doesn't need much in the way of restoration. It really doesn't. Take the box up a little bit here and there. I certainly took care of it well, but you got to remember it's 40 odd years old, the game, so it's stood the test of time rather well, I think. Okay, so I've got more Deathcore drab to do. It's basically Castellan green, what he's doing there. So I've got 5 more guys to do. So let me know what you're working on. As always, that's a huge part of this. I enjoy reading that. I really do. So I'm just mixing up, thinning down my paints. As you should do. Yeah, there we go. And back on with it. Right. Okay. So I'm kind of getting used to this this posture here that they have now. It's because of the folds and the layers of their clothing that makes it a bit more difficult. Actually, I am going to just turn my heating on just for a little bit. Yeah. It's hard to believe. You go from summer where you got the fan going, and I'm saying apologies for the noise of the fan, but it's just so hot here. So I'm just gonna flick the heating on you. People that follow me must think, what? That's crazy. Such extreme change, but it's true. It is a little chilly right now. But the beauty of my studio here at Mini Warzone is it's really well insulated, so it doesn't take long to warm up at all. Yes, these fellows are going to take longer than I first anticipated. I've got orcs to do as well. Well, I've got Mordor orcs. I think I've nearly gathered all the stuff I have. Don't think there's any more surprises for me, but oh, it was a lovely surprise finding my Mordor orcs. I'd forgotten completely that I already had them. Just thinking, yeah, I could probably do with some. I don't know if we're going to get any. You just can't. Well, when I looked, I couldn't see any on eBay that weren't built already or painted. And I want to build and paint them, So I found my own box that I'd had for a while now. Just one of those rainy day purchases from back in the day. It's like, well, I don't really need them right now, but I might want to paint them in the future. And hey presto, here we are. Here we are. So the board games then. So Escape from Colditz was, it was classic. I mean, we played Escape from Colditz, Monopoly, Go for Broke, Totopoly, Game of Dracula, Game of Life, Alley Cat's Game. You've seen some of these games on my board game playlist. Anyway, if you're into that and you've watched it, you'll see that I've covered those. But Escape from Colditz was one of those. My friend, he's no longer with us now, sadly. But he was very, very competitive. He had that competitive personality, and Escape from Colditz is a classic competitive game because you're literally pitted against one another. One of you is the Germans trying to prevent the escape of the other player who is playing the convicts or the prisoners of war, and their goal is to try and escape. I never, ever, ever managed to escape. And on the few times I played Germans, I was not able to. Well, actually, I probably played them more than I can remember. Actually, I failed to stop him from escaping. Now his father, he used to like playing the Germans, and then the two of us would play, our respective countrymen, a different colour playing pieces represented different countries' prisoners of war. The Reds were the British. I forget what all the others were, but anyway, he was a phenomenal German player, and he always got us or shot us. So no one ever escaped when he was the Germans. It was fun, good fun game. And this was, I can remember playing it with him. This is pre-computers, before either of us had a computer. And computers weren't very common then at all, especially home computers. Nobody had a home computer back then. I often wonder now, how did his father, my friend's father, how did he find out about it and get it? I'm very glad he did though. he got a Sinclair ZX81 first, and that's what interested me in it, because I loved it. Had such good character and games for the time. I mean, kids would just scorn it now, but yeah, for us it was like, whoa, you can play computer games at home without going to an arcade, you know. Give all those 10p's you save on playing Space Invaders. It didn't have any sound, so it was limited in that, but that didn't matter, you know. We didn't care about that. And so Space Raiders was basically Space Invaders, and a game called Gulp, which was basically Pac-Man. Oh, it was wonderful, just wonderful. But even with the computer, we still maintained a heavy Escape from Colditz board game culture of our competitive streaks. I think Monopoly was closest. Totally. I mean, I'm talking about a combination of, you know, games that we had, you know, between us. So I had some games, he had some games. I mean, he had Escape from Colditz as well, first actually. But we always played on his version, which is the same one I've got. Same box and cover. I mean, the ones that came later, I don't think they were single boards. I think they were, you know, like the jigsaw puzzle style boards where you just clip them together. But these are games. The original big board. Just excellent. I've obviously I got the board game out and I sat down and I had a look through it, made sure it was all still in one piece, and because it's weird how you keep something in a box for years, and it's got that kind of musty smell about it too. You think, well, nothing's happened to it. You get it out and then things are missing or broken or whatever, but it's good. There was none of that. It does need a bit of a clean up, but I shall do that in due course. You can believe that. I'm just going to finish these two dudes and then I'm going to call it a day here. But I've been thoroughly enjoying. This is what I call relaxation 101. But the episode, I'm going to call it the nostalgia episode. And I'm not even talking about other thing. I'm just talking about a board game. It's funny how a certain thing, a certain smell, a certain taste, a certain place or sound can trigger nostalgia. And everybody gets nostalgic, but I think some people get it more than others. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just, it is what it is. You know, we the older we get, the more nostalgic we get. I think that's just a, you know, a fact of life. You know, I think that's meant to happen. I think it's there for a reason. I think it's there for a reason. I think it's to help you carry on with life and, you know, create new memories. At least this is my take on it. This is what I think it's for. Because I think if you didn't do that, I think you would almost suffer with it. You'd be just living in the past all the time, and that's not, it's not helpful sometimes, is it, to do that? I mean, you watch the later Rocky movies, I mean, you can see he's, especially Rocky Balboa, I mean, there's a guy, a character who is trapped living in the past. I mean, he can't help it. And he kind of suffers because of it. He's kind of a tormented soul. And, there could be a danger of that if you didn't have these safeguards. Built in, i.e. make new memories. I mean, I'm sure when I'm a lot older, if I live that long, I hope, I'll be able to look back on this time with fond memories. I don't know whether it will be the same, because I mean, I share my time with you digitally. So, you know, you're not here in person, but I think I will. I'm a little bit nostalgic already for when I first started out. I'll sometimes, you know, I'll go on my YouTube studio and I'll just look at my old videos, not watch them, or maybe the odd one. I might think, oh yeah, I remember that, and have a fond memory of that time and how I felt that time. You know, I was just getting over my diagnosis of having MS, and how the hobby really helped me, and I have fond memory of that. You know, watching the Games Workshop how to paint Citadel miniatures. You know, that little book and the DVD that came with it, with Duncan Rhodes painting up various things and showing how to do the different effects, and that was brilliant. I loved it, absolutely loved it. Right, so that's all them done. Right, so I'm going to end it here. Thanks ever so much for watching, guys. Remember, all brushes lead to all, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.